Good morning. We're all pretty familiar with the Passover story, so today we're going to do Passover with yoga. Long ago, Moses was a little baby, and when the Pharaoh at that time wanted to get rid of all the babies, his mom sent him away in the river, and he was picked up by the queen, who then took care of him as her own. And he grew up to be a child. So we're going to do Moses as a child. We're going to first go onto our knees. And we're going to put our hands straight out in front of us and our foreheads to the floor. This is the child pose. So Moses grew and he got to experience life through the eyes of an Egyptian instead of through the eyes of a Jew. The Jews were slaves and they had to do all sorts of work while he was with his brother and telling the slaves to work harder and build the pyramids. And as Moses got bigger and bigger, he made a choice that wasn't very friendly. He decided to push one of the other Egyptian workers, and Moses decided to run away into the desert. And while he was gone in the desert, he became a shepherd. And as a shepherd, he got to carry a staff with him. He uses the staff to tell the sheep what to do. And as he's walking around, let's go for a walk. Walk with me. He walked with his sheep. He took them to eat grass and to take care of them. But as he's walking, he came up to a tree or a bush that was on fire, kind of like this tree here. The bush was on fire though. Oh no, what would you do if you saw a bush on fire? Well, first we're gonna do the tree pose. And the tree pose is you put one foot up by your knee, and your other hands, you bring palm together in front, and you can lift up and be a strong, sturdy tree. So the tree was ablaze and Moses didn't know what to do. And suddenly the tree started talking, and it was God's voice saying, "Moses, you need to go and tell Pharaoh to let my people go." Moses was a little bit afraid, but he decided to go and do it anyway because he knew it was the right thing to do. So he took his staff and he walked back to Egypt, back to the Pharaoh. When he got to the Pharaoh, he said, "Pharaoh," with his staff, "let my people go." And his staff turned into a snake. So we're now going to do the snake pose, which is flat on your belly. And then you lift your head up. And sometimes at school, when we lift our head up, we like to go, hiss. This is the snake pose. Hiss. But do you think Pharaoh was afraid of the snake? No, Pharaoh still said, "I'm not going to let your people go." So Moses said there's going to be some plagues that happen. Oh, things got really interesting then. Suddenly frogs started raining from the sky. We're going to become a frog. Let's take a breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. There were frogs here and frogs there. Frogs were jumping everywhere. But did that let the people go? No, Pharaoh still said no, no, no. So some more plagues happened, like the water turned to blood and the cattle and the horses died. This other thing happened where the locusts came. Locusts are a type of insect that eat all the food. So I'm going to show you the locust pose. So the locust pose reminds me of the snake pose. You go down flat on your belly, and you lift your arms and your legs up a little bit, and you can put your arms out in front too. We're a locust, and we're going to eat all the crops, all the food. Things were getting really, really hard for Pharaoh and the Egyptians. They were getting boils and blisters on their skin, itchy, scratchy lice. Finally, he said, "Moses, take your people and go. Get out of here." So Moses got all his people together and they kept walking to get out of Egypt. They were so thankful. But then suddenly Pharaoh decided he was going to start chasing Moses. So they got to the big sea. And that's when Moses put his staff down and the sea separated so they could walk through. So we are going to do the pose of an ocean wave. And the ocean wave is kind of like this, where you are squatting on one leg and your other leg is straight and your arms are back. So they walked in between the two waves. They got to the other side. Now we're going to turn this into the superhero pose or the warrior pose because they did it. They got out of Egypt. They were now free from the Pharaoh. They felt like heroes. Way to go, Moses. Thanks for doing Passover yoga with me. Namaste. Have a great day.